So there's something that is actually worth talking about in this episode, in this talk show, because uh, the biggest hypocrisy coming from the left is like so it's so bold about how big of hypocrites these people actually are being right now. Like, so let's get into some facts that Democrats deny even today. Is the fact that after George Floyd's death, Democrats, people who looted buildings, people who literally destroyed buildings, like after George Floyd's death, claiming that he was killed by a cop when he was killed by a drug overdose. Every single person that is not a Democrat and every single person that doesn't get 100% of their news from the media knows that he was killed by a drug overdose. There has been many researches and many investigations that have found that out, that he was killed because of drugs. So if you wish that George Floyd did not die, maybe you should have told him not to do drugs. Just putting that out there. Overall, this episode is called Hypocrisy from the Left, because we're talking about hypocrisy. Straight up hypocrisy. When Obama was putting tariffs on China and all the nations of the world, everybody was cheering. Everybody was cheering when Obama was putting tariffs on countries left and right. Everyone was like, "You go, Obama, you go." But when Donald Trump wants reciprocal tariffs, the whole entire left freaks out. But Obama did not want reciprocal tariffs. Obama wanted to raise tariffs higher than everybody else had them on us. Obama wanted America to have higher tariffs on them, when Donald Trump wants reciprocal tariffs. Then when countries like China try to play games with him, trying to play mental gymnastics with him, then he's going to start jacking up tariffs. You see the difference between Obama and Trump is the fact that Obama is a war criminal, Obama is a warmonger, while Donald Trump wants peace. Peace brokered 7 wars, and now he's literally set to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Let's get into some more facts, shall we? Like, remember the time Obama was dropping bombs on countries left and right? Yeah, remember that? Remember when Obama was bombing countries left and right? It was silence. Nobody was criticizing Obama when he was dropping bombs on countries left and right, killing people one after another. But when Israel wants to stand up for its own country, it's genocide. Make that make sense. How are Democrats going to blame an entire group of people for their problems when it's not Israel's fault we have the problems we have? It's the simple fact that you keep electing idiots. You keep electing these Democratic idiots, these people of the Democrat Party that gerrymander, and they rely on gerrymandering, and they rely on brainwashing you, brainwashing us to keep being elected. You know, if you want to actually see a change in this country, maybe stop blaming Israel for problems you created. Okay? Maybe you should stop blaming Israel for the problems you create. Okay? The problems that we're dealing with right now, like housing prices, They're blaming that on Israel. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not Israel's fault. It's BlackRock. See, if we don't get rid of BlackRock, we're going to keep having these problems. If we don't get rid of BlackRock, we are going to see housing prices continue to rise. BlackRock is our problem, not Israel. I cannot stand to see how people keep blaming an entire group of people for problems they created. It's not Israel's fault. It's your fault. If you want to keep hating an entire group of people for the problems you created, you're part of the problem in this country. It's time. It's time that we get tired of this stuff. Sorry, I'm drinking Sprite. I'm just drinking Sprite Chill. But no, seriously. How on earth are you going to blame an entire group of people for the problems the people you elect simply cause the problem? Israel doesn't influence U.S. politics. I'm sorry to denounce your stupid ignorance, and I'm going to denounce your stupid, I don't even know what you Democrats even do anymore. It's crazy how majority of the mental health problems actually originated Democrats because Republicans are overall more healthy people. Republicans are overall healthier and happier because they don't base their self-worth on a stupid pronoun that's then again man-made. I mean, come on. Who has they and them in their bio while also hating anybody who disagrees with it, while also calling the Republican Party fascist? Like, there is nothing more fascist than looting buildings because of someone's death. There is nothing more fascist than assassinating someone because you disagree with them. There is nothing more fascist than the exact party, the Democratic Party that we're up against. There is nothing more fascist than the Democrat Party. It's okay for someone to get fired for getting a pronoun wrong or misgendering somebody, but when they're making fun of someone's death, they're gonna throw a temper tantrum for being fired. Make that make sense. Honestly, make that make sense. And for those of us that are in our right minds, and those of us that aren't brainwashed by the left-wing media, we all can see right through this nonsense. We all can. We all can see right through this nonsense that the left-wing media is trying to push. Charlie Kirk was assassinated because he was preaching truth. He was preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. Democrats didn't like it. Democrats don't like Christ. Democrats hate Christianity. Democrats do not like Christianity because that's why every single Democrat is opposed to 10 Commandments going back into schools. How are you opposed of the 10 Commandments going into school? What's so bad of you shall not kill, you shall not bear false witness, you shall not murder? What is wrong with that? Why would you be opposed of putting that in a classroom? Maybe the fact that you all and Democrats are so busy blaming Israel, they don't want to actually combat real issues in this country. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. The old-fashioned blame Israel because y'all can't blame Trump anymore. Y'all have actually weakened on blaming Trump because y'all know you can't blame Trump anymore. Y'all blame Trump. Y'all been blaming Trump for the past 8 years, when all he's done was tell it like it is and combat the real issues nobody else wants to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about how BlackRock is buying all these houses and renting them out to people, and then we're not going to combat BlackRock, but we're going to sit here and blame the opposite political party just because we don't agree with everything they do. You know, it's not disagree with one thing, you disagree with everything. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. We can disagree. The fact that you don't need violence to prove a point. If you have to take out a political opponent with a bullet, that is exactly what fascism is. Notice how when Donald Trump loses an election, he don't throw a temper tantrum. He don't. But when the Democrats lose an election, they start throwing temper tantrum, and they start FBI raids on people's houses because they don't like the fact that no one likes or agrees with their policies. We saw it in 2022. We saw it with 2022. Donald Trump's house was raided because he called out the fact that election was cheated. We all know it was cheated. How on earth do Democrats all of a sudden get 250 more million votes that was never even accounted for? Dude, if you literally have watched everything that the Democrat Party has done for the past 8 years, it would make you want to leave it. It made me leave it. I used to be a Democrat all until 2024, and maybe through the first few months of 2025, because I got tired of it. I got tired of the same old lies that Donald Trump is going to crash the economy. Donald Trump is going to conquer the world and start World War III. If Donald Trump was going to start World War III, he would have already done it. Okay, he would have done it in his first term. He would have done all this stuff in his first term. He wouldn't wait until, if you know anything about Donald Trump, he doesn't wait till the last minute to do things. If he wants something done, he's going to do it now. And dude, even as a Democrat, you should be criticizing your own party, because the stuff that they've been spewing for the past 6 months, just in this term alone, it doesn't make any sense. How on earth are you going to sit here and say that the Republicans are fascist while targeting Republicans? Democrats will be shooting people in the streets, and their own parties like, oh, no, stop. Oh, woe is me. That's all Democrats can do. Act like victims. We saw it with Medicare. People that were able to work chose not to work, and they got upset. They got upset because the fact that we are asking them to work. We're not asking them to work a 24-hour shift. We're asking them to work part-time. If you cannot work part-time and you're able to work, you're just being lazy. So actually stop being a victim and actually go get a job. Go get a job. I'm telling you right now. If you are a victim, if you are acting like a victim because you got cut off of something that you were taking advantage of under Biden, because Biden didn't give a crap. Biden had no idea where he was. Biden doesn't even know what state he's in. Biden can't find his way off a stage. They're not criticizing him. They're not questioning his mental capacity. But they're calling Trump senile. Well, let me tell you something. Trump is way more sharp than Biden ever was. Okay? If you keep listening to Dean Withers, it's gonna make your mind explode. The guy's so dishonest. He can't even prove one claim right. It's funny how even Google contradicts what he's saying. That's just crazy, dude. It's crazy. And the fact that Democrats are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death while literally rioting when George Floyd died. Something I cannot seem to understand. How are you going to not, you see how we reacted when Charlie Kirk died? We didn't start rioting buildings. We didn't start looting stores. We didn't start killing people. What we did was actually mourn his death. Some people probably couldn't even eat for a few days. That was me. I couldn't even eat, maybe dinner, and I'd get a big old stomach ache. I meant to say stomach ache for when I ate. The only thing my body could even handle was water. I couldn't even drink pop. So, yeah, that's what the Charlie Kirk death did to me. It messed up. It messed me up. It messed me up in my arthritic rhythm or whatever, however you say that. the sleep. It messed up my sleep too. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm still recovering from that. It's been a week. This show's coming out a week exactly. The week exactly after Charlie Kirk was shot. But he was shot for speaking the truth. He wasn't shot because he was hated. He wasn't shot because people hated him. But look, Charlie Kirk was shot. Guess what? People in Italy, France, the UK, and all around the United States, and I even saw in a couple other places, like some parts of Russia, people loved Charlie Kirk. The only ones that didn't like Charlie Kirk were the idiots in this country that were being brainwashed by the left-wing media. It's funny how people listen to the media and call it correct, but when the media actually tells the truth about Donald Trump, all of a sudden it's lying. Like, actually makes sense. Makes sense. Is the media truthful or lies? Because at the end of the day, they can't. The Democrats can't be consistent. Democrats can't be consistent anymore. You know, Ronald Reagan even said that when the stock market crashes, they're like, oh, well, that's what happens with a Republican leadership. Well, you know what happened? You know what happened to Joe Biden? I've had Democrats tell me that, oh, Joe Biden made the stocks go up. Yeah, in what manner? Stocks may have gone up, but they were artificially inflated. And what that means is the fact that the stock market was actually going up because people, and when I mean by people, I mean illegal aliens. Illegal aliens were coming in here, getting all this money from the government, and doing it to what? They were obviously doing something with it. Honestly, I don't even have to say it, because y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, buying drugs. They were buying drugs with it. Illegal aliens were bringing drugs into this country, bringing fentanyl into this country, and that's what Trump is doing to stop it. How are Democrats opposed to Donald Trump stopping fentanyl? That should tell you everything you need to know. That Democrats do not care about fentanyl. They don't want it to stop it. Democrats want to keep pushing their narrative. They want to keep pushing the same narrative that they've been lying to us for the past 8 years. If you're still it's 2025, and if you're still concerned, and if you still think that Donald Trump wants to crash the economy, you're dead wrong. We actually have seen the best of the economy under Donald Trump. We've in 2019 we saw deflation, and that was a good deflation. That was healthy. And then Biden came in and ruined it. You know what actually helps the economy? Tax cuts. Tax cuts for the rich. But when a Democrat president does tax cuts, it's all of a sudden beneficial. It's policy. What? Where's the consistency? There is nothing but hypocrisy. How are you going to criticize Donald Trump's tax cuts, but support Biden when he's sending out all these stimulus checks that only affect the rich and that only affect and help the illegal aliens in this country? Hypocrisy. Donald Trump increased the child tax credit while Joe Biden did nothing to help working class families that were struggling under the economy that he created. This has nothing to do with right versus wrong. This has everything to do with the fact that some people are brainwashed and they can't see the truth. And honestly, I am getting tired of it. Name me one policy that Joe Biden actually did to help working class families. And don't say the Inflation Reduction Act, because that only made it worse. I'm actually giving you time to think about it. Because if you honestly think that Joe Biden is a better president than Donald Trump, you're full of crap. Because we saw not only the worst inflation in years. It was record high inflation. Not only that, but we saw literally people coming out and voting Republican in droves. We saw the youth in this country rise up. And I think a lot of it is Charlie Kirk, because he made this youth in this country realize the truth. And stop being biased. It's called realizing when the Democrat Party is spouting out nonsense. Democrats spout nonsense every single time. Here's how I tell you that Democrats can't think for themselves. I asked Democrats, what is Kamala Harris's greatest achievement? What's Joe Biden's and Kamala Harris's greatest achievements? They fail to mention one. They don't know who they're voting for. They're just voting for them because they said vote for me through a microphone. If that's not brainwashing, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. If that is not brainwashing, I don't know what is. The fact that people do not realize who they're voting for is crazy. How on earth do you sit here and say that I am voting for Kamala Harris while you don't even know one accomplishment she did? Make that make sense. And honestly, I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of the lies and the hate the Democrats spews. Every single friend I have had that was Democrat treated me like crap. And yet, I never even mentioned my political affiliation either. I just said, "Hey, how you doing?" Democrats are rude people. Democrats are rude people. I don't want to, generalize, but overall, Democrats are rude people. Democrats are rude people. They're rude people. And then they want to sit here and say, Then they want to sit here and say that Republicans are disrespectful people. They don't care about veterans and stuff like that. Well, guess what? Donald Trump voted his salary. Donald Trump literally donated his salary to help veterans. Mind you, not only that, if that's not inflation was enough, me personally, I'm a Republican. I'm pretty much right. I'm pretty much right leaning. I mean, I don't even know an issue that I'm even left leaning on, because they're full of nonsense and full of hate. And then on top of that, every single time I see a veteran in public, I always say, "Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service." Mm-hmm. I always thank veterans for their service, because I don't feel right when I don't. And it's just the fact that, not even that, it's just the fact that why? Why the irony? The radical left calling a right-wing person saying they don't care about veterans, while also being opposed to tax cuts that benefit the veterans. Wow. Democrats can't stoop any lower. How on earth are you going to say Republicans don't care about veterans while Democrats are literally opposing the tax cuts that literally help veterans? I don't even know what the heck these people are even talking about. The irony and the hypocrisy is so unreal. Imagine literally opposing the only tax cuts that actually help the veterans while claiming Republicans don't care about veterans. Just saying. If you're voting against tax cuts, you're voting against anything that helps the economy. See, for those of you guys that don't like Donald Trump's tax cuts, but support Joe Biden's stimulus checks and stuff like that, let me tell you something. Nothing wrong with stimulus checks. I'm not opposed to stimulus checks. But what I am opposed to is the Democrats' hypocrisy. They're saying that Donald Trump is only helping the rich while literally fighting for the same exact people that Joe Biden refused to fight for. Like, for an example, there was a tax cut that went towards, like, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Guess who party actually campaigned on that? Kamala Harris campaigned on that. What was the Democrats doing? Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray, yeah! We love you! They were shouting that from the sidelines. But then when Donald Trump does no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, guess what the left does? They start calling it, oh, it only helps the rich. Oh, no, here it goes again. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Like, actually get real, man. Get real. I can't even understand why people will vote Democrat, knowing that voting Democrat makes nothing get better. Nothing improves while voting Democrat. Nothing improves. And let me tell you something. I am done with the Democrats' hypocrisy. The fact that these Democrats, they're opposing everything that they say that they stand for. Democrats claim that minorities are being refused to vote because of voter ID, while Democrats literally try to gerrymander Republicans all across the country, and they didn't see how that was affecting the minorities. Like, make that make sense. And then we have another instance where Texas redrawed their maps because it was by a federal judge. A federal judge actually told them to do it. Gavin Newsom comes out and says, hey, we need to stand up to Texas. We're having fascism here. Stand up against fascism. Then, you know what Gavin Newsom does? Turns around and does exactly what he criticized Texas for. What in the awesome heck is going on in this guy's mind? Gavin Newsom is an idiot, and he thinks he's relevant by running for president in 2028. He's not going to win the election. he might get less than 300,000 votes. That's probably what he's going to get. Because J.D. Vance is going to take this election by far. J.D. Vance is popular. J.D. Vance is literally popular. He's more popular than Gavin Newsom by far. And I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what to say. Democrats' hypocrisy is unreal. See, guys, well, I'm about to get off. I'm about to end this show. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.